Would India have become independent if World War II never happened? By the 1930s, the British Empire still looked incredibly powerful. India had already seen massive resistance movements led by Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru, but the British were still firmly in control. Protests had shaken the empire, yet Britain had the army, the money, and the administration to keep India under colonial rule for years to come. Then came World War II. The war changed everything. Britain suddenly found itself fighting for survival against Adolf Hitler and the Axis powers. Millions of Indian soldiers were recruited to fight for the empire across Africa, Europe, and Asia. India became one of Britain's biggest military and economic bases during the war. But the war drained Britain completely. Its economy was shattered, its industries were exhausted, and it owed massive debts. Maintaining a colony as huge as India became harder and harder. At the same time, Indian nationalist movements became even more aggressive. The Quit India movement erupted in 1942, demanding immediate independence. Even though the British crushed it at first, the message was clear: India would not stay under colonial rule forever. The war also damaged Britain's image. The British claimed they were fighting for freedom and democracy, yet they were denying freedom to millions of Indians. That contradiction became impossible to ignore. Around the world, anti-colonial ideas were spreading rapidly. Another major factor was the rise of the Indian National Army led by Subhash Chandra Bose. Although the INA was ultimately defeated, it frightened the British because it showed that even parts of the Indian military could turn against colonial rule. After the war ended in 1945, Britain was exhausted, broke, and facing unrest not just in India, but across its empire. Many British leaders realized they no longer had the resources or political will to hold India by force. Just 2 years later, in 1947, India became independent. So, would India have become independent without World War II? Probably yes, but much later. The independence movement was already growing strong before the war. However, World War II massively accelerated the collapse of British power. Without it, Britain may have held on to India for another decade or even longer. In many ways, World War II didn't create Indian independence, but it pushed the British Empire to the breaking point, making independence inevitable.